Alrighty, so we have a different channel assistant here this week. So if you hear purring instead of an asthma attack, we got our resident William the Willard, the Willith, with us today, and she is purring like crazy. So if you can hear her, she's incredibly loud, and my mic is a little bit sensitive, so just keep that in mind. But hi, hey, hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you stopping on by to my little corner of the internet. And I am going to just be doing a casual sketchbook session. It's been a while since we've pulled my sketchbook out here on the channel, and it just felt like the perfect time to do a chatty kind of just draw with me and really just put all expectations aside for a week. So get your snacks, your sketching supplies, or creativity supplies if you want to be creative alongside me, and let's just get into it. I really don't think that I have pulled out my sketchbook in a good couple of weeks now. I knew when I chose to try a big sketchbook for the first time that I was not going to be as enticed to work in it and actually think things through in the sketchbook, that I would feel a little less compelled to make it a creative home for me than I do my smaller sketchbooks. And so I didn't really anticipate just how little I would want to actually pull my sketchbook out and actually work in that, as opposed to loose leaf paper that I have lying around my desk, or even a piece of printer paper that isn't even good quality. And I was kind of realizing when I was working on a sketch earlier in the week that I was using alcohol markers on printer paper and it was going terribly, that I should probably pull out my sketchbook and use the actual sketchbook instead of just making a mess of my entire desk space in the name of convenience. So one thing I've definitely learned is that bigger sketchbooks are 100% not for me. They're just a little bit less enticing, and they're a lot chunkier and clunkier. I have a very small workspace, and so it's incredibly difficult to actually record not only the sketchbook itself, but also to just make it fit on my desk while also having other stuff on the surface. I have to remove my laptop and things if I want the sketchbook to lay completely flat. And so it's just really kind of an inconvenience. And so I think that one hurdle makes the actual kind of sketching process a lot more difficult. And so I don't feel compelled to do it. So the goal was to kind of just pull out the sketchbook and use it, right? Just do something in it. And regardless of how it turns out, just actually use the paper in that instead of somewhere else, because I'm never going to finish the sketchbook and get to move on to one that I do enjoy working in if I don't finish this one, because I am a completionist and I have to 100% this thing if I'm going to ever move on. And I don't have any storage solutions for all of the loose leaf sketches that I've created at this point, so they're just getting stuffed in the back pocket of the sketchbook. And the back pocket is starting to get thicker than the amount of completed pages I have. And I was that's my wake-up call, that I'm really not using my sketchbook the way I should be, and kind of just avoiding it. And so I made the subconscious choice, not the subconscious, the conscious choice to sit down, pull out the sketchbook, and just fill a page. And it was really enjoyable. Actually using a sketchbook again felt very homely, and I was able to kind of let go of the idea that the page had to be good, because before working in a big sketchbook, my kind of sketching process would be that I would do all of my ideas in the sketchbook, and then I would take out a separate piece of paper to do a finished illustration. Now it's almost the reverse, where I'm doing all of my sketches on a separate piece of paper, and then when I really want to think something through and I'm really committed to an idea, then I pull out my sketchbook. And that reverse process is kind of counterintuitive to everything I believe a sketchbook is. If you want to know more about my philosophy and thoughts on a sketchbook, I will have my video on why artists need a sketchbook up in the card. But I was also thinking about doing like daily journal entries just in my sketchbook and then drawing on the other page as a way to, one, help me fill the pages a little bit more, but also to kind of get some of those artistic ideas that I have but don't really feel compelled to actually sketch in the moment down somewhere and kind of encourage that creative flow and that kind of ideation process in a way that is a little bit less daunting, right? I think one kind of hurdle for me artistically is that there are a lot of things that I know I don't know how to draw and I don't know where to start. So I just kind of fantasize about the idea of these ideas. I kind of just fantasize about these ideas, but I don't actually bring them to fruition because I feel confused on that kind of starting point that I think that I should have. And so my kind of hope is that if I start to journal in the sketchbook and document these ideas, I will find myself being a little bit less scared of actually trying to initiate the process of bringing these ideas to life. This issue is predominantly centered around like monsters and like animal creation. Like I don't really have any personal frame of reference for creating like beasts and monsters and mythological creatures. And so when it comes to thinking about like mythology and gods and all of that, which I do have a lot of characters who are tied to Greek and Norse mythology or are based in some sort of fantasy world, the world is very severely underdeveloped because I have an issue actually creating the creatures that belong in these spaces and kind of going through that component of the ideation process and executing then something to show for what the animals or the kind of threats of this world would theoretically be. And the more that I kind of like dwell on the fact that I don't know how to create monsters, the more I realize that I really need to actually try and break through that boundary of, well, I don't know where to start, so I don't need to do it. Because it's really creating this issue for me where I'm just like, I'll just have an underdeveloped world or a world that has like nothing fantastical in it in terms of wildlife, and it just doesn't make any sense, right? It's like, oh, we're all of these crazy gods who have like partial godchildren that are like terrifying bestial creatures, and I'm like, yeah, but they're like off page. It's like, yeah, but like, look at this cute fox I drew. It's like, I really need to actually work past that barrier and executing my ideas a little bit more carefreely. Is that a word? That's definitely not a word. Carefreely is definitely not a word, but that's okay. We're gonna commit to it and just move on. Because I think that I have this idea that, oh, I don't know how to draw animals or I suck at drawing animals, and so therefore I'm going to be even worse at drawing monsters. And so because of that, I just continue to kind of hold myself back, and I'm better at forcing myself to draw animals even though I don't really know how, and it very rarely turns out good because I feel like I have a frame of reference for what they should look like, so at least I think I know what I'm trying to execute, which in my opinion is kind of like the opposite of how most of the rest of my creative process works. I'm like, oh, I don't really know what this looks like, so like who cares if I don't do it right, because like no one's gonna know. Like no one's gonna be able to call me out because it's not a real thing, so let's just go for it. And you'd think that that would work with like character creation of a more like animal or monster or villain kind of way, but I'm just like head empty. Like I don't know. I can see the amalgamation and the silhouette of it, but the actual like inner bit of it is like difficult. That's really poorly articulated. You know the commercial break, like, who's that Pokemon? And it shows you the silhouette and then it shows you the real Pokemon. I can picture that silhouette of the creature, but the actual kind of like fully revealed thing, like all of those details that are just not shown in that basic shape, is where I feel like kind of confronted with this idea that I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to make it make sense. And so I'm hoping that by turning the sketchbook process into a little bit more of a like journal thing, I'll be able to kind of execute something where I have something to show for all of the thinking that I'm doing. You know, like maybe that's kind of where my hesitation comes from. Like I'm thinking a lot, but I'm not doing a lot. And that's boring. Like I don't enjoy it. Like I want to have something. And you really just, you as an I, really need to just kind of break down those inhibitions and just go for it and commit to probably failure at first, but like who cares, right? Like I mean, my favorite game is Bloodborne, and like you see the creatures in that thing, like the one reborn from Bloodborne, that is literally just an amalgamation of bad creepy limbs. Like, you know, I can really do whatever I want, and I feel like almost the fact that I can do whatever I want is making me feel kind of paralyzed with this idea that like there are no limitations, and that lack of limitations is just like stress. I don't know what to do. And oh, Will did not like that. Oh, sorry, Will. But generally, like that's kind of my goal for the next couple weeks, is kind of like breaking down those barriers and just trying it. Like you'll never know. You'll never even know if you're good or bad at something if you don't try it. Like I haven't even tried, so why am I so like confident that I'm going to just make nothing worth looking at, right? Like that's not how it works. I have to at least commit to not being good at something to know if I'm not good at it, right? Like I don't know. It's just like I'm letting that kind of get in my way, and that's kind of just like taking the fun out of it. So, you know, I'm gonna work on it. If you guys want to see my monster attempts, let me know down below. They're probably going to be in blue ballpoint pen because I lost my black one and it's killing me inside, but it's okay. So if you want to see me like try and make monsters, let me know. I'll do my best, but they might just end up looking like bad Pokemon. So who knows? Maybe I'll make my own Pokemon knockoff of just my bad monster doodles. We'll figure it out. I've been having a lot of issues lately where I'm trying unintentionally. I'm trying to do more realism and I hate it. And basically, to summarize the whole shebang, is that I have been trying to rely on my references a lot more because I've been trying to learn how to draw new things that are very unfamiliar to me. And that has even gone into my kind of character illustrations and just my basic kind of like people doodles. So say I'm trying to learn how to draw a fox. Like I need to really look at it because I can't draw animals to save my damn life. And so I'm really like trying, I'm really focusing on getting down those shapes. That kind of mindset is translating to the things that I am familiar with and that I do have a good understanding of how I like to draw it. And so for a while there, I didn't really realize what was happening, but all of the people I was drawing were just looking boring and like bland, and I wasn't having a good time. And it took me a minute to realize that it's largely because I'm trying to copy the human body for its proportions kind of directly, and I'm not taking those creative liberties of like elongating certain body parts and not others, and just kind of proportioning things the way I like to, not like emphasizing the clavicle, not kind of like adding extra pudge. No matter how like much you weigh, you are getting extra little fat pudge where the kind of like armpit folds next to the boob is happening. You can't stop me. I like to drop the rib cage a little bit lower than it actually kind of generally sits. Adding more grippable and defined love handles, all of that stuff was kind of just like missing because I was trying to draw things more accurate to how they were looking in the reference, and it was really bothering me. I could not tell why these people looked weird to me. And they looked weird because I was drawing something that wasn't actually indicative of my style and how I like to draw. So the overall objective of this spread is largely to just kind of like enjoy drawing pretty girls. Like it's my favorite thing to do, and I haven't done it in a while, and it felt very invigorating. Like it was very nice to just draw pretty girls and like not care, worry about it, and just go for it, and I feel a lot more invigorated now. I know I don't sound very high energy, but I really just want to draw more pretty people, and so I'm really interested in just drawing some more characters, playing around with some more hairstyles. I really like how the far right chick ended up having like the rectangular glasses and adding the piercings in. I really like the piercings I gave her. I kind of want to play around with some more fun piercings and doing those doodles and kind of just having some fun again. I need to bring my ballpoint pens back into my sketchbook. I lost most of my favorite ballpoint pens to either the end of their life, running out of ink, and then I cannot find any black ballpoint pens in my life right now. I have an entire pack of blue Bic pens, but they're really hard on my hand with my health condition, so I'm gonna figure that out, probably add a second grip to my current ballpoint pen and just kind of draw some people. So I really want to do some just character doodles, not even that, just kind of drawing random people and just enjoying the human form again, because I feel like I've been letting myself get caught up in what I think I need to do and not necessarily what I like want to do. I think that is very complicated, but I love drawing everything, but I don't always feel like it's the right thing to be doing at the time, if that makes sense. I have one teacher in my Masters of Fine Arts program whom I'm constantly butting heads with. I don't even know if he feels like we're butting heads, but I feel like I'm never good enough for him, and he doesn't really seem to know anything about me. We talk for an hour every like 4 or 5 weeks, and he doesn't even look at my art in those meetings, and I feel like he knows me less than any of my other professors do, and some of them I only see once or twice a year. It's really weird, but I feel like we're constantly butting heads, and he isn't actually kind of like impressed by what I'm doing, and or doesn't really understand that like I don't want to be a fine artist, and I don't want to be a gallery artist, and I like being here on the internet and doing art the way that I like to do it. I don't want my work to be big and in a stupid gallery with bright white lights that I can never go to because I have a migraine condition and I can't really even sit with my own bedroom lights on for too long before my head is pounding. And it's just this whole weird thing where he's told me to buy a projector and do large art like 5 or 6 times now, despite the fact that I tell him that with my chronic health condition, I can barely draw some weeks because of how excruciating the pain is on like a 5x8 piece of paper. And he's like, he expects me to be making like mural-sized pieces but it will look so good, it will look so cool. I'm like, I don't care if it looks cool. I'm in extreme, exorbitant quantities of pain. I'm not doing projector art. And it's like this whole weird thing where I feel like when I don't talk to him for a while, I'm really just like into my art. I'm into what I'm making. I feel like I'm doing such a good job. And then like I talk to him and I'm in the active semester and I'm just like crashing out, like overwhelmed. I'm like, nothing I make is good enough. Nothing I make is right. Everything I make is not living up to my truer potential as a human being. But my true potential is to just draw pretty people. It's like, I just want to draw nice looking people, okay? I want to draw people with freckles and vitiligo, and I just want to enjoy it. I don't think it's called vitiligo, is it? That doesn't sound like I'm pronouncing that right. You can bully me in the comments, it's fine. I know I can't say anything correctly. I just want to do Jinx and Victor from Arcane fan art and play date everything and talk about it. Like, I don't want to do big meaningful art that like fills up gallery walls. I want to just enjoy making what I want to make in that moment, and I feel like I kind of lose that a lot during the term, and I'm just getting out of the summer term right now. Also just about to enter the fall term right now. I'm finally feeling good, and then I'm gonna talk to this dude in like 3 weeks from now, and I'm like, I'm dying again. But I really just treasure these moments where I feel like I don't have to perform for my academic accomplishments, and I can draw whatever I want, and I need to embrace that a little bit more. I really need to just say, screw you, I don't like your opinions, and do what I want, because my other MFA professors are wonderful. They support me doing literally whatever I want. One teacher and I were joking that I'm actually going to just make an entire illustration series about massive venomous plant creatures being the actual reason for dinosaurs going extinct, like Plants versus Dinosaurs. She's like, do it. I don't care. I love what you do. And I love everything you make. Like, you're fun. You talk good. I like the way you articulate yourself. And I'm like, wow. No one has ever said that to me. Like, there are people in my MFA who say things to me that are so encouraging that have never been said to me in my life. Prior to my MFA, I've never had someone tell me I'm articulate. I've never had somebody tell me that, like, my work is fun. And I really have just been enjoying the experience for some of my professors. And I let this one kind of pull me back into this realm of self-doubt or insecurity, and every single time I'm like, I'm not going to let it happen again, and I let it happen every time. And I don't really know if I know how to not let it happen, but I do know that I really liked drawing pretty people. I really hate drawing clothes still. Everybody should be a nudist in all of my comics, and that my life would be a lot better if they were. However, I've been really just kind of embracing, just enjoying creating for the sake of it. And I really encourage you to do that as well. Turn your brain off, doodle whatever you want. Draw a cat wearing a slice of toast as a helmet, and it'll be good, right? Like, life is good when you do stuff like that. You know, draw a frog wearing a wizard fit, and life will be better. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, you know? If you just have goofy frogs wearing goofy outfits, I'm pretty sure you are embracing the optimal state of existence, right? Like, I think that's how this works. But aside from my weird fantasy about how mental health should work, I should mention that my next couple of weeks of videos are going to be a little bit shorter, probably, this one included, and let's talk about what. So, housekeeping. The videos are shorter because I have encountered an issue where one of our lovely resident video editor art assistants, my cat Zero, currently has an incredibly severe ear infection. He smells awful right now, okay? Like, he is stanky. And he's being detained temporarily in the mother-in-law unit so that the other cats aren't getting in his ear, drinking / trying to drink the antibiotic ointment we're putting in his ear to help with the whole ear infection thing, or just irritating him. It is actually his favorite room in our house, and he actually will throw fits when we shut him out of there. It's supposed to be a no-cat zone because my grandma isn't here all year, so the cats aren't supposed to thrash her room when she's not here. So he's actually living his best life. Like, he's completely content. We opened the door to let him roam around with the other cats earlier today. He came out, he sniffed my dog's breath, then turned right back around and went back to sleeping on the bed. Like, his first time coming out since we got him medicated for the ear infection in like 4 days. He like came out, tweaked balls a little bit, sniffed my dog, and just went back to bed. It was like, okay, you clearly don't want to involve yourself. But I am checking on him every hour and a half because, you know, I want to keep the infection under check. Make sure his ear is flushed, clean, all of that. Sit with him, remind him that just because we're not with you all day, because he is an attention demon, okay? Like, he's a really chatty cat. You might have heard him on the channel just screaming in the background because why? He wants to. He's not feeling super good. He's kind of just like lazing out, loafing around, and so that's just kind of like, he's my priority, obviously, And then I also have my 40-hour-a-week full-time job starting up in a couple of weeks. And so there are a lot of contracts that are involved in my job that have to be formulated before the actual job starts at the beginning of the school year. So I'm also preparing a lot of contracts, getting readapted to my non-summer schedule. And so just these next couple of weeks are just really stressful as I kind of like reintegrate myself into a very different kind of working environment and kind of like daily routine. So we're kind of like slowing down a little bit and kind of chilling a little bit more. So it's just kind of like taking a breather. I'm not necessarily doing less art, but I have less time where I'm like, my phone is available to be recording because I'm receiving a bunch of phone calls to like verify contracts, days, times, hours, all of that. Making sure that all of the supplies are in order for the actual work that's ahead. And so, I don't know, it's just been kind of like, I just like feel like my phone's never available to like actually like take a video. So, all of this is just kind of gonna be maybe like less than, my videos are probably gonna be less than 50 minutes, guys. So, whoa, don't miss my extra 10 to 20 minutes of me a week too much. And, you know, frankly, there is kind of a drop-off in, like, viewer retention around, like, the 20-minute mark on my channel anyway. So, to be fair, maybe you guys want shorter content in general more often. So, maybe this will just be kind of what the channel wants, and we'll see how the channel and the feedback to the shorter videos goes. But our resident Goblin 0, Z, Zoggurt, Ziggity Zog, Zoggeth the Zillagog, the Zogagog, and every other various nicknames that involve the letter Z and probably G. And however, if you want to give him another nickname to add to his assortment of Zoggurt names, feel free. He is a bit of a goblin, and he basically comes to anything with a Z, Z sound in the beginning, so it really doesn't matter what you call him. If you go zzz, he's probably gonna come and he's gonna start screaming at you to give him your undying love and affection and then sacrifice your firstborn children to him. So, honestly, that's all good. But he's not feeling good, so, you know, I'm kind of just slowing down, spending most of my day with him. And, you know, just kind of how the world is working out right now. So, it's all good. That, and then my chronic illness has been flaring up, and I've been experiencing a lot more hand pain, so drawing is a little bit more uncomfortable and difficult. I think I'm going to be making a switch to digital art for a little while, just because it's less aggressive on my hand, and we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to learn to do Clip Studio Paint pretty soon, so maybe I'll do a couple of videos where I show you guys me learning Clip Studio Paint and discussing that process, because I am a very slow learner, and I don't get the hang of things very quickly, so it might be fun to talk about kind of the learning process and reintegrating myself from Procreate to Clip Studio Paint. Because Procreate isn't on the device that I have to switch to, my iPad is basically on its last leg of life, and it burns to the touch if I use it for more than 15 minutes. I can barely make a YouTube thumbnail without getting hurt. So, we're kind of just like collecting all of the shards of inconvenience right now. And we're just going to kind of hope that things settle down soon. So let's just kind of get into a much more pleasant topic other than ear infections, because those are so fun, aren't they? This left sketch is probably my least favorite of the entire bunch. There's not really a particular reason that I don't like it that I can note. I think at worst the clothing just felt a little bit like an afterthought. Like, I knew how I wanted the top to look, and I had seen the hairstyle on someone else like earlier in the day, so I had a general idea for that. But the overall fabric that I chose for the rest of the body just was kind of like, let's hope it works. And so it didn't really have that kind of unity, I guess you could say, that the other two had. And then compositionally, having the only one with clothing on the outside is a little bit bizarre. Like, it might have been more kind of, I might have been less weird if she was in the center, because then the two on the outside are opposite of each other, and the one that's different is in the center. So you're either going to that one. Not only is it the center of the page, but it is the one that is different. It is the odd one out. And so you're more drawn to it. But her being on the outside just feels a little bit off. I know it's the sketchbook page, so it doesn't really matter. But it was definitely just kind of a decision on my part. And I shouldn't have made that commitment. It just like doesn't make sense that I did. So it's fine overall. But I was just like, oh, weird decision for me to make, honestly. So it's neither here nor there, but overall it just doesn't speak to me the same way the other ones do. Then the only piercing that I feel like could really look good on the overall piece is a lip ring, and with the way the hair is is kind of falling behind the face, the lip ring would have to be really dark and accentuated to not blend in with the hair or look like an overall error, or just look like an extra like protruding bottom lip. Like it'll be sticking out a lot more if I don't pull the ring off correctly. And I don't think this pencil erases very well. It's in a small area, and the nib of this like a mechanical pencil is really big, and I was just like, honestly, I'm probably gonna ruin a not bad sketch by trying and just like not kind of pulling it off first try. Then I'm gonna erase, and then I'm gonna mess it up more, and I don't really feel like a lip ring will like add to it in a way that'll like sell me on the sketch. So I figure like overall it's best not to mess with it, just kind of commit to the look that it has and take your losses. Like, it's fine. It really isn't that big of a deal, and I like the spread overall, so it doesn't really matter if there's a sketch I like the least. I mean, I'm sure no matter what, there was going to be a sketch I liked less than the other ones, and it doesn't matter how good this one is. If I liked the other two more, it would still be my least favorite, you know what I mean? And I really like the other two. I really like the jewelry, as I mentioned. I think I mentioned. I might be in an alternate timeline where I'm forgetting what I thought and what I said. But I really like the jewelry on the other two, and so, honestly, like, I just like the spread, and it doesn't really matter if I don't like one sketch as much, so I'm calling this an overall win. The pencil is nice, it's rich, I got the, like, differences in tone that I really wanted to achieve. Overall, I'm feeling good, right? Like, that's all that really matters. If you feel good at the end of drawing, you know you had a good day, and nothing can mess with you. Or at least I refuse to let anything mess with me. I'm winning right now, and nothing's gonna take that from me. I hope. I really hope. I really want this to just be a good spread. I originally wanted to put a marker in the circle behind the center one and the star behind the one on the outskirt, but I was like, if I mess this up with marker instead of just filling it in with the mechanical pencil, I'm gonna be annoyed with myself because I really like these sketches. So full graphite. I need to be very careful not to use any marker on the back page. I'm gonna make a note for myself and probably make that a journal page like I mentioned earlier, just so that I don't mess up these sketches and I can enjoy them more. I don't know if I'm able to post these on Instagram anymore. I haven't been using Instagram as much because of the whole AI data scraping thing, but I feel like this is too much nudity to have on Instagram, even though it's artistic nudity, so I'm not even sure if I'd be allowed to post it in the end anyway. So overall, it's kind of neither here nor there, but you know, it is what it is. Let's kind of move on into the outro. If I was more low energy than usual this week, I feel it, but I've been told I'm not really good at like emoting. Some people say I'm good, some people say I'm not. I'm not entirely sure where I land on the spectrum of like tone execution. So if I was too low energy this week, let me know. I'll drink my tea with honey after my voiceover. And I'll probably be less like, it's bedtime, you know what I mean? So, just let me know. I can bring the energy next week. Probably. I promise. I'm not going to promise that, actually. I might forget and drink my tea beforehand again. But overall, I really appreciate you joining me in my dark little corner of the internet. And if you would like to be a resident of this little goblin corner with me, feel free to subscribe down below. If you want to check out my other videos before you dedicate yourself to a life of whatever this is, that's also cool. I'll have that one video linked up in the card, and then I've been making YouTube content for like, I guess 2 years now, huh? I think 2 years. Yeah, I think I hit my 2-year anniversary in June. So, there's a lot of stuff. You can go back to my first video. I think it was only like 14 minutes. Wow, how the tides have turned. The tables, they're shaking. Whoa. But anyway, I really, really appreciate you sitting here with me and William, because, you know, we can't forget the assistants that come every video. And like if you like, dislike if you dislike, subscribe if you would like to see more of my content, comment if you have a favorite of the 3 ladies I drew this week, and I think that that's all. Oh, share if you have anybody who needs to yap about nonsense while drawing in colored pencil, because we love that over here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are, and with all of this being said, bye-bye!